The one thing I most wanted to be after watching Fumi and others in 2000 was to be a TV host. The one thing I thought I would never be was a TV host. And I saw things going down. So I'm thinking, so this is how my life would just spoil. And all these people will be looking at me, inviting me to events to speak. What fella did, he drew a diagram for me. He said, Chude, what you're going through is the valley of the shadow of death.
I'm not even sure that you understand the magnitude of what you have done, what you have created. The fact that people come to your set and they feel so vulnerable. They're able to talk about things they've never shared anywhere before. That is a gift.
Anybody who's around me knows my mother, I don't play with my friends or my mother. My friends are my life.
Relationships, you actually don't talk a lot about that.
I'm working my relationship with fear
and trembling.
Come for me.
Welcome, Chude. Welcome to With Chude.
With Chude with somebody.
However, today, the interviewer has become the interviewee. How does it feel sitting on the other side?
Strangely enough, I feel apprehensive.
So, I'm going to say relax.
Yeah, okay.
This is two friends having a conversation.
Yeah.
Don't think about the millions of people who are going to watch from all over the world.
Yeah.
Don't think about who you are as the host of the most celebrated show, right? Just relax.
Okay.
And let's have a good time.
Right.
Right? And let's just talk.
Let's just talk.
So tell me, how long have you been doing this?
Actually, if that's
With Chude?
Yeah, with Chude. So 5 years.
Okay.
So 5 years.
The reason why I asked this question
Yeah.
is because if you remember in 2018,
Yeah.
we were both at the Tutu Leadership Fellowship.
Yes.
That was when you talked about this show. You probably don't remember.
No, I don't.
They were telling us to talk about the things that we're going to do after that.
Right.
And you talked about it.
Yeah.
I remember it so clearly. So when it started, I was like, oh my gosh, he actually talked about it. If you go back to your notes from 2018, I am almost 100% sure that you will see which Chude there.
That's amazing.
Because I was totally in awe when I saw, because it's one thing to talk.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. We talk about so many things we want to do. There's so many things I've talked about that I haven't even done, right? So when I saw it come to life, I was like, oh my days, he actually talked about this. So I'm so excited. I am so thankful for your journey, right? It's just been incredible. Yeah. And if nobody has given you your flowers, I want to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
I'm saying, Chude, take the whole garden, because you have done something that I'm not even sure that you understand the magnitude of what you have done, what you have created. The fact that people come to your table or to your set and they feel so vulnerable. They feel so comfortable. They're able to talk about things they've never shared anywhere before. That is a gift. So first of all, let's say thank you to God for that gift. And then say thank you to you for listening and then for pursuing it. It's incredible.
Thank you.
I've seen this come to life and I'm so excited. So 40 is incredible.
Yeah.
I always say that 40 is the age of don't be silly. You've passed the age of don't be silly. Once you get 40, it's like, well, I've passed that age of don't be silly, please.
Yes.
Take me serious or just go.
Yes, that's where I am.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's how I felt when I got to 40. So I'm glad you feel that way.
I feel that way.
I say it all the time.
Yes.
You've gotten to the age of don't be
silly. Yes, that's how I feel.
Right. So as you approach your 40th birthday, do you find yourself reflecting differently on the challenges that you faced? And how have those struggles shaped who you are today? Because you've had struggles, you've had challenges.
Oh my God.
So how have they shaped who you are today? And do you find yourself reflecting differently on them?
When I'm doing the show, for instance, because it's a talk show, I'm directing, writing, and hosting.
Absolutely.
You know that. And sometimes when I do things, when I'm doing my intro, so one of my old producers used to joke and say, one take God, because I'll just do it that way. And I realized there's something Steve Jobs said, that life is lived forward, but it's remembered backwards. The way he says, essentially, as you are going, you don't know how all the things are adding up. When you now stand at the place and look back, it all makes sense. And like all the time that I've done research on the show, and I've done research on the show, and I've, been production coordinator, I've been assistant director, I've been all of these things. I didn't know that all of that was going to come together. So now, two things. One, that, oh my God, that's what all those experiences were for. And two, that I can't believe I'm here. I honestly can't believe it. What was it? Somebody was doing I forget what it was. Okay, I was reading an article. I've not done interviews in the past few years, but there was an article that the magazine was doing. And we had our product manager answer the questions on behalf of me. And I was reading the article, and I know this is not the kind of thing people think about because I've done some big things in my life, but I thought, somebody had told me that I would be hosting a TV show and people are going to be trying to profile how that TV show succeeded, and it would be in my late 30s, and I would be, the impact, I would be in this, they'll be talking about my show in the same breath as people who are maybe almost half my, but not, at least one of them is like 10 years younger than me. I would not have believed it. But the one thing I most wanted to be after watching Fumi and others in 2000 was to be a TV host. The one thing I thought I would never be was a TV host.
I was just going to say, how would a shy 18, 16, 15?
Yeah, I was 15.
Yeah, because started school at 16, so you were 15.
Yeah.
How would a shy 15-year-old watch someone and say, I want to be that?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're thinking, it's just a dream, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. That's it. And also even the exact type of show I wanted to do, that I would do, because I've had stints hosting, but that I would do my show, that I would have a show called With Chude. That I would have a show with my name on it, that I would even be courageous enough to call my show my name. It's just amazing.
Your faith seems to be an important part of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious from everything you do. It's an important part of who you are.
Yeah.
How has your spiritual journey influenced both your professional career and your personal life as well? And your personal relationships?
Right. I was talking to a dear friend the other day, and I had this person who was in my life, and the person had behaved so terribly. And the person is no longer part of my life, but the person's birthday is coming up. And I've been so conflicted about, I want to send this person a gift, the natural me want to send this person. You see, this thing is a small issue, but I've been on it for 2 weeks because I'm like, I don't want to be misunderstood. And I was telling the person, and the person said, don't send it. This person has behaved so badly, everybody around you knows this, don't do this, all of this. And I said, look, I'll never say this, as I wasn't comfortable saying, I don't say it as because I don't want to feel holier than that. But I'm like, look, you are my person, let me tell you what it is. I'm a child of God. And so I feel like the world has changed. People have become more cynical, meaner. People don't have benefit of the doubt. A lot of things have changed. And I'm like, and sometimes, I don't want that to influence me. I want to wake up every morning and think that what Christ teaches matters to me a lot. So when the Bible says, let your light so shine, that's important. So I'm like, so I've been going back and forth. So people around me are like, and I don't have people externally, so they don't think I'm performing it. But I see my friend, in fact, today as I was coming, I came out of one of my ex-staffs, she wanted me to see her home, and I was late for my shoot. And I said, I need to get your thoughts on this because you know me. And I said, Chude, send the gift. He said, why? Because you delayed your meeting to talk about this thing. That's how important it is to you. So that's how my faith is to me. And of course, we're not perfect now. So this is not about perfection. This is about working on our salvation with fear and trembling. And I love Jesus, not just as Lord and personal Savior, but as a human being, just kind. You see, when my pastor said one day in the church, he said, compassion always preceded healing for Jesus. So when Jesus came to a place and he said, and Jesus wept, it's like he knows he can heal them, but he feels the pain. And he wept. So it's not just about, oh, I'm a magician, I'm going to heal them, but like, I feel that pain. And yeah, that's my faith. My faith is not condemning people, trying to show them. It's like on the fundamental level, kindness, and all of that. But also being able to rest in spirit, being able to, this life is not logic all the time, and I'm a logical person. But there's some times when you sit down and you know that this could only... Let me share this story. 2016, going through this depression, clinical depression that had been diagnosed. And I'm praying. I'd wanted to become an atheist. I had given up on church. I'd given up on God. And I'm in my room praying and speaking in tongues. I'm screaming. And I hear, go and talk to fella Chude. Now, I had a guest a few days ago, when my farmer came, and he said God told him to do his food criticism thing. And I said, if I hadn't gone through that experience, I'd be like, I beg. And he said he heard it audibly.
Did you hear it audibly?
I heard it audibly. Wow. And go and talk to fella Chude. And I didn't want to talk to him. I'm like, no. I love fella Chude, but at that time my business was collapsing. And I'm like, fella is for the heart. Like, I'm not going to talk to Tara. Tara is fella is heart, is kindness. I said, okay, God, this is me in my room. Okay, can I do Pastor Sam?
See, negotiation.
Yes.
I love it.
And
wow.
God said, and I heard, go and talk to fella Chude. So I said, okay, and I talked to my friend at the time, Francesca. She said, if God says fella Chude, go to fella Chude now. So we drive. She goes with me because I was so depressed I couldn't even move. Wow. So she goes with me to fella's place. I'd been depressed for 3 months. When I left fella's place, that was the first time I felt joy.
Wow.
Left fella's place, she said to me, this is the first time I felt a spring in your steps. Now, when you experience God like that, how can you not live your life conscious of God, or godness? Because my logic would not have led me there.
No.
My planning, my strategy, my experiences, nothing could have told me. Even the fact of something here, that's something you heard an audible voice, something must be wrong with you. It's not something I'd experienced before. I don't think something I've experienced since. That was God. So first, the life of Jesus, and that kindness, but just resting in God. Just like when everything is wrong, I'm just like, you know what, it's okay. God.
It reminds me of peace like a river. Because at the end of the day, everything is not going to make sense.
Yes. Yeah.
But even when it doesn't make sense,
yes.
I have peace.
Yes.
Not because the world around me is perfect,
yeah.
but because I know whose I am. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This show is not about depression. Let's get that out. But I want to ask you, what led you into depression? What brought it on? Because something or a series of events must have led you there.
Yeah. Well, short version, because long version is in the book that we're releasing this year.
Awesome.
But, so simple, fear of poverty. Was what led to depression, and I'll explain. 2015, we had just done the Buhari campaign, big campaign, national, etc. Immediately after that, we had just done we had just signed the Ghanaian campaign, and clients were talking to us, corporates were reaching out to us. This was a great time. Business was on top. I was feeling high, but a lot of things were happening in my life. I call it in my book low grade unhappiness, where things are going well, but you just feel sadness underneath. Things are going well, but you're not constantly enjoying life. So I've been dealing with that. But, things were going well. So you can escape it. You can enter business class. You can travel to, Hawaii. All those things are happening. So you can escape yourself from time to time. And everything was going well. I was dating people I wanted to date. I was getting the business I wanted to get. 16, I forget what, maybe March or somewhere, maybe after March, I forget. We signed all these clients. None of them was spending. We signed Ghana campaign, signed. They refused to start work. We signed 2 banks. We're one of the PR agencies that has worked for multiple banks at once. 2 banks. 2 top banks. One of them is the top bank in Nigeria by something. Refused to start work. Month 1, the 2 banks. Month 1, month 2, month 3. Just everywhere, silence.
So when you say refuse to start work, they were not even bringing out money to start?
No. They were not even giving us work. We have signed you on your official agency.
But no money to start?
But no money to start. Don't start work. Okay. So for the first time in my business, we didn't have cash flow. For the first time in my business, I had to dip into savings. Now, luckily for me, I've always run a business where you have 6 months savings in advance in case things go wrong. So even though I was prepared for things going on, I'd never experienced this. And I saw things going down. I can't imagine, I can't explain, unless people have gone through it, how panicked I was. I'm like, who's going to pay all this stuff?
Who?
I'd never owed a salary in my life by then. I've never owed a salary in my life till now. But I was just thinking to myself, what's going to happen at the end of the month? And I thought, again, we're at the height of our fame. So I'm thinking, so this is how my life will just spoil. And all these people will be looking at me, inviting me to events to speak.
I'm so sorry.
I'm telling you,
Whoa.
I was frightened. I was afraid. And so then I realized that because from when I was 15, everything had been up. I'd never faced this. And so suddenly I realized I can just fall on the floor. And all those my mentors who I had seen, they were at the top of their careers, and suddenly I'm just like, this is how my life would have been. And I thought it was over. And so, it's like you're sinking into a pit and there is no floor. So my mind kept thinking of the worst case scenario. I kept sinking in my mind, sink every day. So at some point, I had to move to Debola's house. So I remember one day my assistant then is still very close to me now moved, came home, knocked on the door, was knocking. Then I think he pushed the door open. I had closed all the windows. I'm like, I can't deal with life. So he was panicking. Like, Chude, you can't do this. I'm like, I can't deal with life. I'm like, I just want to be here. And then after that, he's like, there's a problem. And so I became so afraid of what I was going to do to myself. I had to move to Debola's house. Now, and Debola was in charge. Debola is blessed. Debola was in charge of market. He was the director of market. So he was the one receiving the no's. So, so the clients are not spending. He's going to get other business. He's hearing no's. But Debola will come back every night, still fired up. So how are you doing? And so anyway, cut a long story short, that's what led me to depression. Just the idea that I don't know if I'm ever going to come out of this. And there's the shame, there's the pain, there's the fear. And at that time, I was fighting with one of my best friends. And so even the people, at that time, I'd gone through a process where I was on a relationship fast. So I didn't have anything to fall on. So I just sank. And I kept sinking. That was scary.
Wow.
That was scary.
So, initially you talked about life being a classroom.
Yeah.
And the fact that, class is never out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At the time you were going through that, you hadn't come to that realization that life is a classroom.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people go into depression. And, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone is above getting depressed. Some people just choose to realize the fact that class is never over, right? Some people just choose to realize and just choose to come to the knowledge, because it's a knowledge.
It's a knowledge.
They just choose to come to
Yes.
the knowledge
Yes.
that, it is actually never over.
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say. It's very easy to say that, no matter what your situation or circumstances, no matter what you're going through, you can decide that it's not over.
Until you are inside.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's very easy to say, but is it easy to come to that knowledge?
Wasn't. It took months and months. Wasn't. Like you said, at that time, I thought that class was over.
Yeah.
There was no way of thinking about this apart from this is the end.
So you spoke to Fela.
Yeah.
And for the first time you had joy.
Yeah.
It must have been a journey from there. Do you want to walk us through a few of the steps or some of the things that you did, and then we can move on from this real quick?
So what Fela did, and I've been trying to find that diagram. I used to have it in my apartment before I moved to my new place. I had it up until 2021. He drew a diagram for me. So that is incredible. As I was talking to me, he was having goosebumps. I was having goosebumps. And he said, Chude, what you're going through is the valley of the shadow of death. But it is not the valley of death.
It's a shadow.
The shadow.
Shine light and it's gone.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
And I remember asking him, I said this in the book, I said, why am I going through this? I think this is what he said. He said, I don't know. Now, this is the important thing. By that time, I'd learned to smell BS from the pulpits. People who pretend to have answers they don't have. So if Fela had said anything else, he would have lost me. I don't know. But this is what I know. God is going to use this. So he drew a diagram of a mountain and said, you're supposed to climb this mountain to get somewhere. But what God is doing, God is leading you through. So rather than go like this, which is a longer journey, God is leading you like this. So the distance is shorter, but it's at the bottom. So you're going to go through turmoil. But stick with it. And I believed him. I believed him. And I believed him because I felt it. And so when I came out, and you see this thing about depression. The way I describe depression is like darkness, locked inside darkness. So that means that even if you're closing your eyes, it's dark. When you open your eyes, there should be light. But the difference with depression, when you open your light, there is darkness. So you panic. You panic because you are like, where is the light? And you wake up every morning expecting the light and it doesn't come. So you think to yourself, oof, is this all I'm going to have for the rest of my life?
And then when you start having those thoughts, it gets worse.
It gets worse. You
spiral
downwards. So Fela, for months, I had felt only darkness. This was the first time I felt light. So I knew that something had happened. And then, so I went back, and so I think it was after Fela, I wanted to get the because I went back to my prayers. And I now had more vim, like the younger people will say now, with my prayers. I had more faith. You know, I felt, nothing had changed though. Clients were still running mad, but I felt hope for the first time. I felt hope for the first time. And so then I began to move. I began to do things. I began to do things even if I wasn't sure about the results. And that's how I tell people that there was no... First, I thank God that my situation didn't change because I would have thought it was because of the situation. So I came out of the depression even though my situation hadn't changed.
It was the same.
And there was not one big thing. I think it was just the energy. So as I stay moving with clarity, with confidence, things stay opening.
Because you got to the realization that it wasn't over.
Yes.
The reason why you were there is because you thought it was over. You kept thinking, this is how my life is going to end.
Yes.
But then you came to that knowledge that, you know what, it's actually not over.
Yeah.
That's why you stood up.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, relationships, you actually don't talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
Why don't you?
It's actually a very simple reason. I always joke with people around me, like, the way I talk about what happened today.
That is so funny.
I'll tell you, I was just like, please. So I'm working my relationship with fear
and trembling.
So it's actually not a deep reason. Apart from the fact that I just feel like that's not what... There are people, you see, there are people who... We all have different roles to play. And I don't think that is what, and it sounds so deep for a simple question, but I don't think that's the role I'm called upon to play. There are people whose relationships inspire, you know, a certain Nnamdi Anomoni Oboli, Tara Felajuote. There are people who you see, and you're not thinking it's perfect, you're just thinking it's moving. Or, you know, Auntie Jokan, Olu Jacob, there are people, and there are people who don't, you know. And I think that I'm one of those people that's not the thing that I'm to contribute to
society.
The world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how I'm supposed to show up in the world. So maybe yet, because we evolve. So that's the secondary. But the primary reason is honestly that someone like me, I'm a logic first person. I spend so much time in my head. You know, I find human behavior to be perplexing sometimes. So my relationship requires my full attention. I don't even have the time to be talking about it. You know, so sometimes when I'm, like, remember I had a guest, the Diary of a Nigerian Girl, Ife, who you were on her show.
Yeah.
And she was talking about something in a relationship, and I said, oh, that has happened in my own relationship. Oh. So I went to him and said, please, I hope you're comfortable with it.
But I didn't mention names.
So I just feel like
Yeah,
I just feel like
I get it.
I just need to. That's a place in which I need a lot of learning and a lot of patience, understanding, and I've seen what just working on it has done for me. That's really, it's not even a deep thing like that.
So when we talk about relationships, it's not only about romantic relationships or romantic love.
Yeah.
You know, relationships in terms of your family. You know, what role has that played in shaping you and your life? And as you turn 40, what do you think? You know, what's the importance of those relationships in your life?
So, right, thank you for that. So part of the reason why I didn't share is because, you know, I've not talked about those kinds of things. That over the past few years, I've tried to be silent and just listen, not talk. Because I've not done interviews, done anything. But I'm comfortable talking about these things. One is my friends. My friends are my life. I've had the same friends for 20 years and more. You know, I've mentioned Debola, Francesca, Mfon, Olumide, you know. I don't know what I would do without my friends, honestly. Like, just coming here, driving here. I've spoken to 2 of my friends about a decision I need to make. One of my friends, I call him my elder brother because he's so wise. You know, so everybody's making noise because Oprah did a party for Gail recently. I'm like, I can do a party. One of my friends turned 40 this year, you know, and I don't like all these things. I just stay learning what is silver and what is gold. And I bought gold for her, and I've never bought gold in my life until this year. And she was just crying on the phone. Her mother was crying. You've been there for me when everybody else abandoned. Like, they didn't even know that I needed people for it. So my friendships are so important. You know, I don't fight my friends. Or if they get upset, when they run mad, I keep quiet. Because I'm like, I don't need, the world can be falling apart, but this will not fall apart. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Let's proceed. So my friendships are my center. I can't play with it. You know, Debola just called me on Saturday, for instance, and there's something he wants to do for me that he doesn't need to do. It's like what happened in South Africa with Desmond Tutu now. Why are my friends fighting? Why is somebody fighting for me to talk to Desmond Tutu? You know, so my friends are my life. That's one. My mom. I don't talk about my mom a lot, but that's because I just feel like it's so sacred. I said to my mom that there could only have been one mother for me, and it's just you, you know. And my mother was asking me for something the other day, and she was like, I'm so sorry to stress you. I said, Mommy, stop it. You can never stress me. It's never going to happen. And, you know, there are some of us, you know, Psalm 1 shall be like a tree planted by rivers of water that brings forth fruit in season. My leaves will not wither. I'm planted by the water of my friends and my mother. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I could have done this life without them. You know, when I was going through that depression, my mother was coming to the house every day. And she would not say anything. She would say, it'll be fine. I know the prophecy I had on your life. And many years after when I was doing my fellowship at Yale University, I did Yale before coming to Desmond Tutu. And I was in Fordham University in New York with a professor of psychology. And I was telling him, we were walking down the path, and I was telling him this story. And he said, you know what happened? I said, what? He said, she took you back into her womb. And I'm like, oof, I felt like speaking in tongues. And that's what my mother has, yeah. That's what my mother has done throughout my life. Yeah, so anybody who's around me knows my mother, I don't play with my friends or my mother. I play with my younger friends as well. Relationships are water for me. And I grew up in a loving family, very loving family. And I'm not used to chaos inside the house. I'm used to togetherness. And so for me, it's very important to have that kind of relationship. If I don't feel safe, everything falls apart. My work is affected, my friends are not. So that I've been blessed with these friends. I've been blessed. My friends say to me constantly, they say all the time, I worry for you because they say, you don't know what is happening in the world. You don't know. So I'm like, I feel like I need to cover you. And they cover me. Oh, they cover me, they cover me. So my friends, I say, look, my friends know everything about me. There's no secret. First of all, thank God we don't do bad things like that. But my friends know me because I'm like, I need to tell them. They need to help me. They need to support me. I don't know, people that don't have deep, close friendships, I don't know how they do life. But yeah, those are very important to me. Yeah, you can see I've gone on and on in this particular question because, yeah, it's so important.